Hi, everybody. So, part two, I guess. As you might notice, I didn't change, obviously. It's kind of a trick. I'm not sure it's gonna look well on the photos if I start or end with a clap, but who cares? So, today, the weather is typical from the area. This morning it was raining, and then a few hours later, 11 a.m., it was sunny for an hour. And then it started to get cloudy, and then it started to rain again. And once it got in the evening, it snowed. So now it's a bit white outside. But tomorrow is going to be a bit warmer, so the snow will be gone. That's the typical weather from here, the March weather. And next week it's going to be 15 degrees. So yeah, it goes from one to the other quite fast. And today I wanted to talk about technology, I would say, and not necessarily in a good way, in the way that, I have been working with Apple since a while now. And in 2017, I bought my MacBook Pro, my second MacBook Pro, because the first one broke the day before my school exam. So I had to quickly buy last minute a new one, put everything on the new one, and then the next day going with my new computer, present my exam. So that was quite a tough one, quite a tough situation. But then, at the same time, a few years later, 2025 in this case, which is good. I mean, 8 years with a MacBook Pro it's good. But I got a message. This MacBook cannot be updated to the next iOS or Mac OS, whatever it's called, because it's too old. So I was like, okay, no problem. I can wait. But then Photoshop got updated. When I opened Photoshop, it said, this MacBook is too old to run Photoshop in a proper way. You need a later firmware for that, and your computer cannot get it. So I was like, well, it's my job, so okay, I'll buy a new one. So at that point, I bought a Mac Mini, the new one that came out like a few days before that, so that was perfect. And I have the Mac Mini at the studio. But now that I have my own apartment, I kind of want to sometimes work from here, so I don't have to drive to the studio and be on that computer. So I still had my old MacBook Pro, but I was quite limited, and also comparing to the M4 of the Mac Mini, it was really, really, really slow. And so I decided to buy a new MacBook. But I was like, I don't need a MacBook Pro. I have the Mac Mini at the studio. I just need a MacBook, for example, Air, to do the basic stuff, selection, the basic retouching. And once I'm at the studio with the good screens and so on, calibrated screens, I can do the final touches. But I need an okay computer to do the basic stuff at home. So a few days ago, Apple came out with the new MacBook Air M5, I think. So I was like, perfect, I'll buy the MacBook Air M4 because it dropped in price, so good deal. And so, yeah, my point is, why are they doing that? Like, sure, I understand after 8 years, it had its time. But they do the same with iPhones, and it's all the brands, of course. But it's that pushing you to buy it all the time. And beginning of the year, like now, it's always Fortunately, not this year, but usually it's quite slow. And so I wanted to buy it, but companies are always paying late. So I was waiting for people to pay, but it took a while. Everybody was late for paying because all the companies are also waiting for their clients to pay to be able to pay me. So it's always a bit. I understand their problem. They understand mine because they have the same problem. So, but now everybody paid, almost everybody. So it's great. Now I had money to buy the new MacBook. It's a great one. I mean, it's a MacBook. You cannot go wrong with it. I'm not doing that to do some good ads or being sponsored or whatever. I don't have any followers anyway, so I'm not gonna get sponsored, but yeah, sorry, I'm looking at it. It's right there. Because from the Mac Mini to the MacBook Air, it's the same chip in this case. Did it on purpose. And it's basically going from one to another. It's synced. So everything I'm doing on the Mac Mini, it's happening on my MacBook Air. So as soon as I'm home, it's as if I just was still in the studio, but on a different computer. And yeah, that's basically the annoying part, is having to buy something new every single, almost year. Same with photography, cameras. I mean, shutters have a certain lifespan, and as a wedding photographer, event photographer, corporate photographer, you are quickly there, and so the shutter quickly breaks. Even though you take care of it, it knows when to break, basically. And so you needed to buy a new camera, but also to follow the new trends, the new possibilities. I'm just going to say it like that. And yeah, that's basically it. And with people paying me, I also finally got the possibility to buy a couch. It's not there yet, but it's going to arrive in 6 weeks, something like that. So I went to buy that. I went to buy a new, some new furniture for the TV, because I had a basic TV shelf from IKEA, and it looked quite terrible in the apartment. So now I bought a proper one, which works with my home cinema. And so yeah, it's all coming together. And in the next episode, I will talk about my project. That is one of my goals of the year, because it's going forward. So I'm gonna clap again, like the beginning or the end of the last episode and the beginning of this episode. And see you next time. Have a good night, have a nice evening, have a good day, and see you. Bye-bye.